Motorcyclists have a pride problem. We love the mechanical drama, the gear changes, the sense that we have somehow earned our speed. But here is the truth nobody in your riding group will say out loud. After hour 3 of a highway commute on a rigid sport bike, your spine is filing a formal complaint, and your backside has declared independence from the rest of your body. Today we talk about the machines that solve all of it. Big bore, highway-capable, storage-packed Maxi-Scooters that do not ask you to sacrifice one single thing you actually care about. Consider this your official permission slip. Number 1 is a discontinued legend available on the used market right now for pennies on the dollar. Stay tuned. Number 12. Kymco AK550 Premium. We open the countdown in Taiwan, where Kymco engineers apparently decided that scooters needed to feel like they belong at a track day. The AK550 Premium is what happens when a manufacturer tells their engineering team to stop being sensible. 550 cc of liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing 51 horsepower and a genuine 100 miles per hour top speed. This is not a number designed to fool anyone. A Kymco hitting triple digits on a highway is a legitimate, highway-legal, I belong here statement. Under the seat, you get 33 liters of storage, enough to swallow a full helmet and change. Seat height sits at 30.9 inches. Wet weight comes in at 498 pounds. Price at your US dealer is $10,499, which, yes, is a real number for a scooter, and yes, it is worth it. Most scooters bolt the engine directly to the swing arm, meaning every bump the rear wheel hits is transmitted directly through the drivetrain. Kymco separated the engine weight from the transmission, dramatically reducing unsprung mass and keeping the rear tire glued to the road, in a way that makes traditional scooter riders question everything they thought they knew. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you want to drag a knee on weekends, but refuse to give up heated grips and Brembo brakes on your commute. The Kymco does not ask you to choose. At number 11, a German manufacturer decides to build a scooter and predictably makes it feel like it should cost twice as much as it does. Number 11, BMW C400 GT. BMW slapping the Gran Turismo badge on a scooter is either the most arrogant thing in motorcycle history or the most accurate product description ever written, possibly both simultaneously. A 350 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled single-cylinder pushing 34 horsepower and an 86 mile per hour top speed. Seat height at a very accessible 30.1 inches. Wet weight 474 pounds. Retail price $8,445, available at your BMW dealer right now, which means full Bavarian customer service costs less than some Hondas. The standout feature is the BMW Flex Case system. Most under-seat compartments are fixed shapes. BMW engineered a flap that drops downward toward the rear tire when the lid opens, expanding the effective volume and swallowing a full-face helmet inside what looks like a comically slim rear profile. Total storage lands at 37.6 liters of organized premium space. The reason riders avoid this scooter is pure badge confusion. BMW buyers expect sports bikes and tourers. BMW scooter buyers feel like they have made a compromise. They have not. They have made a sensible decision dressed in slightly unusual clothing. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you arrive at client meetings and cannot afford to look like you fought a headwind for 40 minutes. At number 10, Honda builds something that has no business existing and somehow makes it work perfectly. Number 10, Honda X-ADV 750. Honda looked at the ADV and tour motorcycle market, looked at the urban commuter scooter market, and apparently decided the correct response was to refuse to choose. The X-ADV 750 is the mechanical equivalent of wearing a suit to a trail run. It should not work. It absolutely works. 745 cc of liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing 58 horsepower and 105 mile per hour top speed. Wire-spoked wheels, long travel suspension, seat height at 32.3 inches, and wet weight of 520 pounds. Estimated price around $14,000. And here's the bad news for American viewers. The X-ADV is a global and European market machine that Honda has not seen fit to bring to the United States, which is criminal. The special component is the dual clutch transmission. This is not a rubber belt CVT. This is a real physical 6-speed gearbox that shifts automatically at the speed of a computer. You get genuine engine braking, you get lightning-fast upshifts, you get the mechanical satisfaction of sequential gearing without the requirement to use your left hand or foot. The CVT crowd gets silky smooth. The DCT crowd gets accuracy. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you live where the road ends and the ADV in tour begins. But you also work in a city and cannot be late on Tuesdays. At number 9, Italy reminds everyone that wheel size is not a cosmetic decision, it is a structural argument. Number 9, Piaggio BV400. In Italy, the Piaggio Beverly is not a scooter. It is a cultural institution. Americans know it as the BV400, and it exists to solve a problem that most small-wheeled scooters quietly ignore. The absolute terror of hitting a pothole at 60 miles per hour on a 12-inch tire. 399 cubic centimeters of liquid-cooled single-cylinder, high-performance engine producing 35 horsepower and an 87 mile-per-hour cruising speed. Seat height at 31.1 inches. Wet weight is a very manageable 430 pounds. 30 liters of underseat storage. $7,399 at your U.S. dealer, which is the price of making potholes irrelevant. Most scooters roll on 12 or 13-inch wheels, which have the gyroscopic stability of a dinner plate rolling across a parking lot. A 16-inch wheel has the momentum and geometry of a proper motorcycle tire. Train tracks, expansion joints, construction debris. The BV400 eats all of it without a moment of drama. You feel the road improve beneath you in real time. That graph of rider anxiety against wheel diameter goes straight down once you cross 14 inches. The reason riders overlook the BV is brand recognition. Piaggio does not have the street presence of Honda or Yamaha in the American market. The engineering says it should. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if your commute looks like a road-quality disaster zone and you are genuinely tired of arriving with your fillings slightly rearranged. The BV400 is the most underrated wheel size argument on the used market right now. At number 8, Suzuki has spent decades turning the concept of motorcycle comfort into something that feels less like a vehicle decision and more like a lifestyle upgrade. If this is rewriting your opinion of what two wheels can do, hit that like button right now. At number 8, Suzuki introduces its most comfortable creation since the GS Series armchair tours of the 1980s. Number 8, Suzuki Burgman 400. The Burgman 400 is the motorcycle equivalent of upgrading to business class and realizing you will never go back. Suzuki has been refining this machine for decades, and the current iteration represents the pinnacle of what a single-cylinder urban tourer should be. 400 cubic centimeters of liquid-cooled single-cylinder, producing 29 horsepower and an 85 mile-per-hour top speed. Seat height at 29.7 inches. Wet weight is 481 pounds. 42 liters of underseat storage, which is cavernous by any reasonable measurement. $8,699 at U.S. dealers. Suzuki sculpted the footboards deeply near the seat, which means riders of virtually any height can put both feet flat on the ground at a stoplight. Not tiptoe, not one foot. Both feet flat simultaneously. For older riders or anyone who has ever had the quiet panic of a heavy bike starting to lean at a traffic light, this design decision is not a feature. It is a quality of life revolution. The Burgman 400 gets overlooked because 29 horsepower sounds modest on paper. On paper is wrong. The 42 liters of storage, the windshield that pushes air over your entire body, and the seat that does not punish you for 300 miles of highway are the metrics that actually matter to the person riding the cheek. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you want to ride 300 miles on a Tuesday and feel genuinely fine on Wednesday. At number 7, BMW decides that internal combustion is optional and builds something that looks like it arrived from the year 2050. Number 7, BMW CE04. The CE04 is not a scooter. It is a conversation starter that BMW decided should also function as transportation. It is polarizing in the way that only genuinely original design can be polarizing. Some people see the future, and some people see a very expensive surfboard with a headlight. A liquid-cooled permanent magnet electric motor producing a peak 42 horsepower and an electronically limited 75 mph top speed. Seat height 30.7 inches, wet weight 509 pounds, 20 liters of storage in a side-loading illuminated compartment, $12,195 at US BMW dealers, which means you are paying for Bavarian EV engineering and a guaranteed conversation at every traffic light. The animation highlight is the side-loading storage cavity. Without a conventional engine under the seat, BMW reconfigured the entire storage architecture. The compartment opens from the side of the scooter rather than the top, meaning you access it without having to stand up, step around the bike, or perform the seated dismount maneuver that Maxi-Scooter parking lots know too well. It fits a full-face helmet, and it is lit from inside like a refrigerator, which is a detail so needlessly luxurious that it is completely brilliant. The CE04 gets avoided because of range anxiety. 75 miles of electric range is not a touring figure, it is a city commuter figure. And if that matches your use case, the instant electric torque and the absolute silence at city speeds make every internal combustion machine around you feel approximately 1 century behind. Now, buy this instead of a motorcycle if your commute is under 40 miles each way, and you want to make every petrol station rider slightly confused about their life choices. At number 6, Yamaha puts a motorcycle chassis under a scooter body and dares you to find the difference. Number 6, Yamaha T-Max 560. If the T-Max existed in a parallel universe where it was sold as a motorcycle, nobody would question whether it belonged in this list. The problem is that Yamaha had the audacity to give it a step-through body, so now it has to prove itself to people who would worship it if it had foot pegs instead of footboards. 562 cubic centimeters of liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing 47 horsepower and a genuine 100 miles per hour top speed. Seat height 31.4 inches, wet weight 485 pounds, 40 liters of underseat storage, around $13,000. And here is the painful part for Americans. The T-Max is not sold in the United States. It sells in enormous volumes across Europe and Asia, while American dealers simply do not stock it. This is an injustice that the motorcycle press has been quietly furious about for 15 years. Yamaha took the same chassis architecture found in their R1 Superbike, scaled it appropriately, and bolted a step-through body around it. The frame is not flex. There is no wallow. There is no vague, disconnected feeling that plagues lesser scooters at speed. The T-Max handles with a directness that forces traditional motorcycle riders to go quiet when they ride it. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you are a dedicated track rider who also needs to live a functional adult life during the week. The T-Max handles the canyon on Saturday and the supermarket on Sunday with equal competence and zero apology. At number 5, Yamaha sells Americans the sensible version of this argument, and sensible turns out to be absolutely outstanding. Number 5. Yamaha X-Max 300. If the T-Max is the aspirational choice, the X-Max 300 is the correct choice for most actual humans who live in the actual world. It is not a compromise, it is a refinement. Every excess gram stripped away, every unnecessary complication deleted, leaving a machine that does the actual job better than most of what costs twice as much. 292 cc of liquid-cooled single-cylinder blue-core engine producing 28 horsepower and an 85 mph cruise. Seat height 31.3 inches. Wet weight 403 pounds. 45 liters of underseat storage. $6,199 at US dealers. That 45 liters figure means this scooter fits 2 full-face helmets simultaneously under the seat, which is a number that changes how you plan entire evenings. The blue-core engine technology earns the close-up animation. Yamaha applied friction reduction engineering across every moving surface inside this single cylinder. The result is 75 miles per gallon from an engine capable of freeway legal speed. That graph of fuel cost against distance covered flat lines for X-Max owners in a way that makes fuel-injected sport bike riders do arithmetic they did not want to do. The reason some riders pass on the X-Max is that 292 cc sounds modest. Then they ride it on a freeway and discover that modest on paper is a very different thing from modest in practice. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you want one machine that covers commuting, grocery runs, weekend rides, and passenger duties without requiring you to pack differently for each task. At number 4, Honda brings a machine from Europe that makes the X-Max look like it needs to try harder. Honda always has to push the joke slightly further. Number 4, Honda Forza 350. Honda named this thing the Forza. Force. They are calling their scooter the Force. The confidence is unearned by nothing and earned by everything simultaneously, because the Forza 350 is genuinely excellent, and Honda knows it. 330 cubic centimeters of liquid-cooled single-cylinder ESP Plus producing 29 horsepower and an 85-mile-per-hour top speed. Seat height 30.7 inches. Wet weight 410 pounds. 48 liters of internally lit under-seat storage. Around $6,500. Devastating caveat. The Forza 350 is a European and global market machine. Americans cannot walk into a dealer and buy one new. This fact sits in the same category as the T-Max situation, an injustice committed in broad daylight. A button on the left handlebar commands a motor to move the windscreen through 7 full inches of vertical travel while you are riding. In urban traffic with a helmet visor up, you lower it. On the freeway at speed, you raise it and watch the buffeting disappear in real time. Most adjustable windscreens require tools or at least a parked bike. The Forza does it at 65 miles per hour because Honda decided it should. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you ride in a region where this is sold, which unfortunately excludes the United States for now. If you are in Europe, congratulations. You can buy the most technologically sophisticated sub-400 cubic centimeter commuter on the market for the price of a used economy car. The Forza 350 is what happens when Honda decides nothing is good enough until it is perfect. At number 3, a Taiwanese manufacturer arrives with chain drive, twin cylinders, and a price tag that makes the Japanese competition look briefly self-conscious. Drop a comment below telling us which maxi scooter you already own or are currently pretending you are not considering. We read every single one. At number 3, Taiwan produces something that makes Japanese manufacturers look slightly embarrassed about their pricing. Number 3, SYM Maxsym TL 508. SYM stands for Sanyang Motor, which is Taiwanese for we build proper motorcycles and call them scooters. The Maxsym TL 508 exists to prove that the T-Max's price is partly justified by the badge and partly by the engineering, and that at least half of that badge tax is avoidable. 508 cc of liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing 45 horsepower and a 95 mile per hour top speed. Seat height 31.3 inches, wet weight 500 pounds. 37 liters of underseat storage, around $9,000. Not sold in the United States, which is a recurring theme in this list that should make American scooter importers deeply uncomfortable. The component demanding the close-up animation is the chain final drive. Every other scooter in this list uses a rubber V-belt enclosed in the swing arm housing to transfer power from the engine to the rear wheel. Rubber belts are smooth, maintenance-free, and quiet. They also absorb power. The TL 508 uses a traditional exposed motorcycle chain. Power loss from engine to rear wheel, nearly zero. Throttle response, immediate, snappy, exactly what a traditional motorcycle rider expects. The chain needs maintenance. In return, it gives you a scooter that behaves like a motorcycle from the moment you crack the throttle. The reason SYM gets overlooked is brand mythology. The motorcycle market runs on heritage and reputation, and SYM does not have decades of racing wins to reference. What it has is a chain-driven, parallel twin maxi scooter that costs less than the T-Max and comes with a surprisingly aggressive exhaust note at full throttle. The Maxsym TL 508 is the most mechanically honest machine in the maxi scooter segment, and the used market has not fully priced that in yet. At number 2, the most famous scooter silhouette in the world arrives wearing technology it has absolutely no obligation to carry. Subscribe to the channel right now. We find the machines the mainstream ignores every single week. At number 2, the most famous scooter silhouette in human history arrives wearing technology it has absolutely no obligation to carry. Number 2, Vespa GTS 300 Supertech. Here is the argument for including a Vespa in a maxi scooter list. If you measure this machine by storage capacity alone, it loses. 15 liters under the seat, which fits one open-face helmet with the enthusiasm of someone accepting a consolation prize. The purists who say a Vespa does not belong here are making a legitimate storage capacity argument and a completely wrong overall argument. 278 cc of liquid-cooled single-cylinder HPE engine producing 23 horsepower and a 75 mile/hour top speed. Seat height 31.1 inches. Wet weight 348 pounds. $7,799 at US dealers. That weight figure deserves its own sentence. 348 pounds makes the Vespa GTS the lightest machine on this entire list by a significant margin, and on a list where most competitors weigh around 500 pounds, being 150 pounds lighter is not a marginal ADV advantage. It is a category change. The animation feature is the trailing link front suspension. Instead of conventional telescopic forks, Vespa uses an aircraft-derived single-sided arm that connects the front wheel to the chassis via a trailing pivot. Under hard braking, the geometry resists nosedive. The front of the bike stays level while conventional forks compress dramatically and shift weight forward. The practical effect: later braking points and a composure under hard stops that makes experienced riders smile with genuine surprise. The GTS 300 gets dismissed because it does not look serious. It looks beautiful and Italian and slightly vintage and deeply impractical. Then you ride it through a crowded city and realize that 348 pounds of machine that parks anywhere and fits into gaps that would terrify anything heavier is the most practical urban weapon available. Buy this instead of a motorcycle if you live in a dense city, value aesthetic joy alongside functional transport, and have accepted that looking this good is itself a reasonable justification for a vehicle purchase. At number 1, we arrive at the grandfather of the entire segment. It is discontinued. It weighs more than some small cars, and you can buy one right now for less than the price of a used economy vehicle. Number 1, Suzuki Burgman 650 Executive. When the Burgman 650 Executive arrived, nobody knew what category to put it in. It was too big for a scooter, too comfortable for a motorcycle, too practical for a sports bike, too fast for anything the scooter community had previously produced. Suzuki had invented something new. The automotive press filed it under miscellaneous, and it proceeded to comprehensively embarrass larger categories of vehicle for the next 2 decades. 638 cubic centimeters of liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing 56 horsepower and 105 mile/hour top speed. Seat height 31.5 inches. Wet weight 563 pounds. Storage capacity 56 liters under the seat. For reference, a full-face helmet needs about 20 liters. The Burgman 650 fits 2 full-face helmets, both riders' small bags, a pair of rain trousers, a chain lock, and still has room to question what else you might need. The under-seat storage alone makes mid-sized touring motorcycles look deeply reconsidered. Suzuki 𝐏𝐷V enhanced cooling system, combined with variable valve timing, means the engine adjusts its breathing characteristics based on load and speed. At city speeds, it runs cool and economical. At highway speeds, it opens up and pulls with a force that repeatedly surprises people who expected a scooter. The power delivery curve on this engine does not look like a scooter graph. It looks like a sport tourer that chose comfort over performance and then quietly kept the performance anyway. Suzuki discontinued the Burgman 650 in the United States market in 2018. The reasons involved emissions compliance costs for low-volume sales. The result is that a generation of genuinely extraordinary machines entered the used market at prices that make no logical sense. Expect to find clean examples with documented service history between $4,000 and $6,000 right now. The depreciation graph on a Burgman 650 looks like a cliff followed by a plateau that never quite reaches zero, because the ownership community absolutely refuses to let these things die. The Burgman 650 is the right machine for any rider who wants to do a 400-mile day in genuine comfort, arrive completely dry inside the windshield bubble, step off without a single complaint from their lower back, and do it all for the price of a good used commuter car. The fact that it is no longer in production is the motorcycle industry's single greatest unsolved oversight. Buy one, service it, ride it until something else arrives that deserves to replace it. Nothing currently does. 12 machines, every single one capable of replacing a motorcycle for at least one category of rider, in at least one real-world use case. The scooter jokes belong to people who have not ridden one of these. The rest of us are quietly very comfortable. Continue the ride and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you on the road. Vroom vroom.